The following is intended for mature audiences only. Discretion is advised.
This episode of Childlike at Best with Mike Valdes is brought to you by Ugly Drinks. Ugly is a company that makes sparkling water with real fruit flavor. No sugar, no sweetener, nothing artificial. And with every purchase, a percentage goes to the Girl Up campaign. Ugly Drinks comes in delicious flavors like peach, lemon lime, cherry, and my personal favorite, watermelon. And guess what, Childlike at Best listeners? You can receive 10% off your first order by using the code UGLYMIKE at checkout. It's true. Usually calling me ugly would be offensive in real life, but at uglydrinks.com, it'll save you money. Visit uglydrinks.com and use the code UGLYMIKE to get 10% off your order. It's time to get real. It's time to get ugly. What's up, besties? This is episode 23 and me of Childlike at Best with Mike Valdes, and guess what? I'm still the second part of that title. Before we get started, I wanted to let you know that I will be at the Gamer Comic Expo. It's a gaming and comic convention that I'm going to be moderating a whole bunch of panels at, and that's going to be super fun. Also, really cool announcement, there's going to be a live Childlike at Best with Mike Valdes there. The guests are still to be determined, but as soon as I have all that situated, it will be on my Instagram at Mike Valdes or my Twitter at I am Mike Valdes. Also, all of the information will be at gamercomicexpo.com. You can also get tickets for it at gamercomicexpo.com. Also, if you don't have your Childlike at Best with Mike Valdes t-shirt, hoodie, any of your merch, make sure that you get it at tpublic.com. All you need to do is go to tpublic.com, search Childlike at Best, and you will be able to get all of your merch needs. I'll also have the link to all of the tickets as well as the merch below. This episode is my good buddy AndyOceans. Andy is an amazing musician as well as videographer and filmmaker for his company Ripe Mango. This episode is really fun. We talk a lot about his childhood growing up as well as music and all the things that he's up to now. I really think that you guys are going to enjoy this episode. So without further ado, please enjoy my buddy, AndyOceans. Hey everybody, this is Childlike at Best with Mike Valdes. Hey guys, guess what? I'm Mike Valdes, and today I have a very special guest with me, Andres Aponte.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, what's up, dude?
When you say it like that, I feel like my mom's like calling me because I did something wrong.
Really? Because I'm rolling the R correctly?
Yeah. Exactly. Not something many people can do.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. So before I get anything started, the thing we like to do here at Childlike at Best is we like to take a Flintstones vitamin. Now, the Flintstones vitamins were in my car, and on the drive here, they melted in the heat.
Oh, no.
So we're going to have to skip that.
That's okay, man.
But let me ask you the first question, which is, go ahead and tell the listeners where you grew up.
So I grew up in Caracas, Venezuela.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it has its ups and downs.
Of course, yeah.
Such a beautiful place going through such terrible things.
Yes.
But yeah, man, that's where I grew up. I lived there till I was 15 years old.
Really? That's a lot of your formative years were there then.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And when I was 15, my parents decided that we couldn't live in the country anymore because it was too dangerous. And we ended up moving to North Carolina for a year because of my dad's company, and they sponsored him. We got our green cards, we got everything. Then we moved to Miami after living in North Carolina for a year. Lived in Miami for about 8. Went to high school, went to college, and then I moved to Seattle for 3 years.
Yeah.
And now I'm back in Florida. Beautiful Orlando.
In Central Florida, yeah. So what kind of... And I know it's difficult. We were talking about this beforehand about how it's difficult for you to harken back sometimes.
Yeah.
But what kind of kid would you say that you were in high school or in school? Like, who did you sit with at the lunch table? That kind of thing.
So I was definitely a ref.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, man, I sat down with the Hispanic kids in high school. I was very, I've always been very, like, a very anxious person. And I've always been, like, very, like, socially uncomfortable.
Most creatives are.
Yeah, I don't put myself in, like, social situations enough, at least not as much as I should. But yeah, man, I sat down with like the Hispanic kids and we had a lot of fun. Yeah. It was like, it was nice because obviously coming from a Hispanic country,
yeah,
I got to spend some time with Hispanic people again after living in North Carolina for a year. But yeah, man, that was fun. And yeah, I think.
So when you went home and stuff, what were the things that you were into? Like, were you just like a homebody? Were you a skateboard kid? Like, were you into sports a lot? Like that kind of thing?
So I played baseball.
Oh, yeah?
Until I was 18 years old.
Okay.
I wanted to play college, but I guess I wasn't as good. And I had an injury where I got hit with a baseball on the face.
Oh my gosh.
And then I played a lot of guitar. Like that was it for me. Like my life was literally go to school, get out of school as fast as I can, so I could come back home and learn like an August Burns Red song and do a cover of it and put it on YouTube.
Nice.
I actually have you can find those covers on YouTube.
Really?
Under AndyOceans. Like if
That's
you type
awesome.
AndyOceans, is like really old videos of me playing the guitar.
That's awesome. Oh man. So what bands were inspiring you to do this, to play guitar? So, I mean, ABR was one of them, obviously.
Yeah, well, ABR came after the fact.
Yeah.
I've been playing guitar since I was 9 years old.
Yeah.
And the band that actually got me into playing guitar was Sum 41.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which album?
All Killer No Filler.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like Fat Lip and 'Cause I'm in too deep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was only because on my 10th birthday, back in Venezuela, one of my friends gave me I guess I was playing like the classical guitar before, but like what really got me like into music, like, yo, I really got to do this, was my friend gave me that CD when it first came out when I was 10. So that was like 2002. And yeah, man, that album just like completely changed my life.
Of course.
I'm telling you, like it turned me into like a total rocker kid, and that was like my jam.
Yeah,
for sure.
you started getting chain wallets, like
yeah, I'm wearing like the belts with like the little spikes. That was definitely
little
that
pyramid
kid for a while.
spikes. Yeah, I remember those, and the ball necklace.
I never wore those.
Yeah,
I never did.
It was always weird to see guys with balls around their neck, but it's just like, bro, what are you doing?
Why do you have balls around your neck?
Yeah, it's crazy. So Sum 41 was the start of it, but then once you got Sum 41, I figure that's when you started doing research into other bands, right?
Yeah. So I was
like,
really into like pop punk. I was super into Sum 41. Obviously discovered Blink 182, and like that was a big thing. And I listened to a lot of Metallica for some reason.
Mm-hmm. When, because this is the thing, is like the listeners don't know this, but I know you from music. Like I know you from you were in a bunch of bands and stuff like that. And so when was your first band?
My first band was called Last Minute Ticket. It was when I was about 16 or 17 years old, and we're like a total like high school band.
Of course,
like we played like the high school festival or whatever.
Nice.
It was like the Battle of the Bands, and we also did. That was one of our shows, and the other show that we did.
Did you play a skate park?
Honestly, we played 3 shows. One of them was at the high school.
Yeah.
One of them was not at a skate park, but it was at a park. It was like a park in Doral.
Yeah.
Like, one of these events.
Yeah.
And the other one was one of our high school friends liked our covers, because all we played was covers, like straight up, like 'cause I'm into this. And the last show that we played was like one of our friends liked our band so much, he asked his mom if she could hire us for like $75.
Oh wow.
And we played his birthday party, so that was a lot of fun. We peed in a fountain. And we took a picture. That was fun.
You took a picture of the pee, or
peeing? Of us peeing on the fountain. Yeah.
You're like, that's the album cover, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Because back then
it was.
Yeah, because back then it had to be like a little raunchy.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I always feel like everybody's first band always plays at like a skate park or a park, and that's like the kiss of death for
or a birthday party.
Or a birthday party. And that's like the kiss of death for your band, because it's like You're not like playing anything of substance, you know?
Yeah, you've officially obliterated your chances of that band ever becoming big.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily true.
Yeah, because POD plays in the skate park in the Alive video, so.
Yeah. Or The Devil Wears Prada playing at Warped Tour years ago.
Yeah.
Like in the parking lot, and now they're like one of the biggest bands in the scene.
That's true, and they hook their power to like the freaking dirt.
Yeah. Yo, does this dirt got electricity? Let's check it. Yeah, man.
Yeah, Devil Wears Prada is a great band, man. They were I got into them, I want to say their first The Plagues, was that their album?
You know, I've never been like the biggest like listener of The Devil Wears Prada, so I wouldn't know like any of the albums.
Yeah. No, they're super good though. They're way better now than they used to be.
However, I'll tell you, I was watching their Audio Tree live yesterday.
Yeah,
that
real
was
good
fire.
stuff.
Yeah,
real good
really
stuff.
good.
And their Sour Breath cover is really great as well.
Yeah. They did play that actually on the Audio Tree.
Yeah, that's a really good cover.
Yeah.
Audio Tree does some really great videos for bands.
Yeah,
for sure. Mm-hmm. So this is tough in a good way though, because I feel like all the guests that I've had have been like predominantly American, like they grew up in America during their formative years.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these questions might be a little different for you because it was just a different place, you know?
When
So
I grew up.
yeah, that kind of thing. Did you have any TV shows or cartoons or anything that you were into growing up?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I was little, I watched a lot of obviously Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, of course.
A lot of the classics. I don't know, maybe some of your listeners will know, but I used to watch El Chavo del Ocho a lot.
No, I don't know that. What is that?
Yeah. So it's a Mexican show. It's about like this community of people, and they're always like arguing and like doing like crazy shit. It's super funny, but they have like their issues, and like they're always fighting, and like there's this like older lady that's in love with like this older guy, but the older guy doesn't want her. It's really funny. It's really funny. The kids are always fighting. Yeah. So I watch a lot of that, a lot of Tom and Jerry. Power Rangers, obviously. I watch a lot of Power Rangers.
Me too. I was really into that show. I mean, that show was huge. Yeah. It's kind of crazy. Like I even went to they toured, the Power Rangers toured, and they did like an arena tour. Like, I don't know if you ever heard about it or whatever, but it's just funny looking back at it now because it was just clearly like dancers in Power Ranger costumes.
Yeah.
And then they would have video footage of the actual Power Rangers only on the screens.
It totally didn't match.
It didn't match at all. Like the Red Ranger is like too skinny.
Yeah.
Like, and you're like, what is going on? Like the Black Ranger's a girl, clearly. And you're like, what's going on?
The Pink Ranger's like 6'5".
Yeah, her bulge was huge. Like,
too much. That's funny, bro.
Yeah. So, dude, what about? Because this is another thing too. Like I always talk about like what your favorite childhood snack was. So like Lunchables or like Gushers or things like that. Were you into stuff like that?
I really, really loved Nerds.
Yeah.
Like
good stuff.
The big box with like filled with like a bunch of Nerds. I love that thing.
Where did you get them? Because I only found them from the ice cream man. And the ice cream man only came to the hood once a week.
Oh my god.
Because I grew up in the hood, dude.
Damn. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Hialeah, like in the 90s. So it was like the hood. Damn. But I loved it. I thought it was great. It made me the man I am today.
Hialeah is a great place, man.
Yeah, it is a great place.
Some croqueticas and
some croqueticas.
Cafecito.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, they do. They definitely do have some great stuff. Just to go into our next bit, were you into cereal at all?
Yes.
Yeah?
Honey Bunches of Oat all day.
Yeah?
I love that thing.
Okay.
Yes. From since I was a little kid up until now, I love that thing.
That's your favorite? Like you never deviate from anything?
I mean, I'll have some Captain Crunch and like the berries one.
Yeah.
That one's dope. Frosted Flakes, obviously. I loved Frosted Flakes as a kid.
Bro, there was always something so funny about those Frosted Flakes commercials to me.
Oh yeah, with the tiger.
It wasn't because of the tiger. It was always because the commercials were always kids like playing sports friends, like doing like playing soccer or whatever, and then they would be like so tired, and then they'd be like, "Oh, thank God, a bowl of Frosted Flakes with milk." Like, who wants Frosted Flakes after they play soccer?
Goddamn water. God, man, yeah.
Like, I get it if it's like a Capri Sun commercial, but it just doesn't make any sense for Frosted Flakes.
Yeah,
you know?
At some point in my childhood, I guess I like really stopped like eating cereal because I discovered that I don't really like wet grain. Like wet grain makes me throw up.
Yeah.
Everything makes me throw up, first of all. Like every time I have so let me tell you a story. Every time every time I have to change my son's diaper, I have to grab one of my shirts and I have to spray it with like cologne and put it around my nose because I'll throw up.
That's a clutch move.
Yeah. But I have to do it. It's my responsibility to clean his poop, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a little awkward sometimes because I'll be like, but it's nothing I can control. It's just like something that's been that way my whole life. But it started with cereal and milk, and the cereal getting wet just made me gag.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
You know, that reminds me, you were telling that story about your son. That reminded me that Kevin James has this really funny story about like how he was playing with his daughter when she was a little baby, and she sneezed in his mouth, and he like involuntarily just threw up on her face. And and like his wife is like, "Why would you do that to your own flesh and blood?" He's like, "I couldn't help it. Like there was nothing I could do. She sneezed in my face, and my reaction was to throw up."
Yeah, it'll happen, man. I'm telling you. Some of us are too weak, man. Like whenever there's something too gross.
Yeah.
So when my dogs throw up, that's another one. Like if my dogs throw up, I'll be like, Casey's my partner.
Yeah.
I'll be like, Casey, and she'll come to my rescue. Like she's cleaned my throw up before.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my gosh.
I mean,
what a trooper.
Yeah. So when I throw up, I can't even clean my own throw up because I'll throw up while I'm cleaning the throw up.
You'll get nowhere.
I'll get nowhere ever until I have nothing else in my stomach. So then I'll be like just hurting myself the whole time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like,
that's crazy.
Oh my God, I can't no more.
That's the lining of my stomach. Yeah, it's real bad.
Yeah.
Well, in every episode of Childlike at Best, we like to review a cereal. So I brought a cereal for you.
Oh,
and so
okay.
I like to get a very specific cereal for my guest in some way, shape, or form. I wanted to do something with my guest in some way, shape, or form. So I spoke with my sponsors at Funko. And now by sponsor, I mean that I like them and I buy all their products.
Exactly.
And by spoke to, I mean I tweeted them repeatedly and they didn't get back to me. So the cereal that I got for you is
dun dun dun.
Yeah. I got you Funko Xenomorph Alien cereal.
Oh my God! Okay.
Now the reason why I got this for you is because you're one for conspiracy theories.
Yes, 100%.
And you're all about raiding Area 51.
Yeah, totally. I didn't make it. Sorry, Al.
You knew Ratu ran the other way.
Yeah, exactly. Dude. I got too scared. You know, I showed up and I looked at it from far away and I saw the military and I was like, nope, that's it.
Yeah. So this is the cereal I got for you, and it's awesome. It comes with a little alien toy as well.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you can give that to your son.
Hell yeah.
And like it comes with a little maze and everything.
I'm pretty sure he won't be able to do that one.
To do the maze.
Be like, hey Oliver, here you go. You can finish this at 4 months old. You'll be superhuman.
Yeah. So I'm gonna open this box and I'm gonna pour some into my Reptar cereal bowl. Okay. I'll try to mic it as well, so all the ASMR weirdos can like loop it and make it their ringtone or whatever the weird thing it is they do. Hell yeah. So give me just a moment here.
You can have my Hispanic chewing in your ears all day.
Yeah. People love that. So it would be fun to review this cereal, right? But what would be more fun is to review this cereal as the Xenomorph from Alien. That would be way more fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find some Alien music and I'm going to play it. And then when you get a chance, I want you to do your best impression of an alien reviewing that cereal.
Okay, I have to get myself mentally prepared for this one.
The good news is we don't know what aliens sound like, so they can sound like whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. Like an alien who learned English.
Yes, okay. Exactly. That would be sick.
All right.
Cool.
Here we go. Okay, what's my name as an alien?
Whatever you'd like it to be. You're the alien. You can do whatever you want.
Well, just because I have a lot of dogs. Well, I don't have a lot of dogs. I have 2 dogs that shed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I will call myself the Furminator.
The Furminator. All right, man. Well, so
I just come to Earth to clean your fur.
well, we're getting there. Let's wait until the music starts.
Here we
All
go.
right. Whenever you're ready, Furminator.
I am an Earth. These humans have provided me with a cereal to try. Here we go.
That's so ASMR.
Yeah. This cereal. No wonder these humans are all fat. This cereal is still good. Stupid humans. I wonder if I take this to space, if all the aliens... Oh wait, I have found a piece of cereal that looks like their leader, Donald Trump. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, please help me. I'm choking. I'm choking. This cereal, this American cereal tastes like nothing but freedom.
Oh my gosh. The Furminator, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
That was great.
Yeah, man, that cereal's amazing.
Holy cow.
If I was an alien coming to Earth and I tried this thing for the first time, damn.
Yeah.
Except for that Donald Trump one.
Yeah, I feel like...
That one's pretty gross.
Yeah, I feel like the thing is, though, just so the listener knows, the cereal looks nothing like Donald Trump because it's round and black.
Yep.
So it looks nothing like Donald Trump at all.
Oh, yeah.
That was the Furminator, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! So I want to move on to more current stuff because you've been involved in creating as far as photography, videography, a bunch of different things as AndyOceans and all that stuff, which is really funny to me because you were in a bunch of bands and that's how you got your name. And that's the only thing that stuck was your name because it sounds dope.
Yeah, thank you.
What made you want to start doing photography and videography?
The way I got started into photography and filmmaking, when I was younger, I had a PlayStation that I traded for a camera. And it kind of just started from there. I just took pictures with friends, and eventually in college, I started taking color film photography classes. That's where I met my partner back in the day. And yeah, man, I used to take color film photography.
Was this all in Florida?
Yeah, this was in Florida International University.
Yeah.
And I was under the instruction of our professor. Her name is Peggy Nolan. She's one of the best photographers out there, in my opinion. She's amazing. She's like freaking like 80 something years old, but she acts like she's like 15. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
And yeah, we had really harsh critiques, and at the time I didn't really understand what I was doing, and I didn't really understand all the things that she was telling me about art, and all the things she was telling me about my colors, and everything that she was telling me about storytelling through a photograph. And now as an adult, I finally understand those things, and I create art thinking back on my critiques. But that's how I started with photography. Once I graduated college, I used to do a little bit of video. So I did a few like local music videos here and there, few events, like when I first was starting out,
You even did one of mine, actually.
I did.
You did.
I did.
In my garage,
Yeah. I watched that. Oh my god, I saw that thing.
That was like back in the day when we were just starting.
Like, oh my god. Like what?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, man, that was a fun time. And yeah, that's kind of how I started. And then I moved to Seattle once I was finished with college, once I graduated. Washington State being such a beautiful place, it just took my art to a different level. and I was doing a lot of model portraits.
Yeah.
I started out like kind of like raunchy,
Sure.
and then it developed into a more refined style where I would take beautiful portraits of beautiful women.
Yeah.
After that, I kind of realized that I wasn't really making any money doing portraits. So I started doing a lot more film work. And with film work, I guess it's always kind of been there since I started doing photography. But it really got serious when I was living in Seattle. I met somebody by the name of Jonathan Wolf. He plays in a band called Vespera.
Yeah.
And
the name sounds familiar.
he's one of my best friends. We went to high school together. He's played bass for Falling in Reverse. He's played guitar for Slaves. And now he's like in his own project. He used to play with Dayshell. But yeah, I met him, and through him I was able to meet a bunch of other different people and get a bunch of other different kinds of gigs. We traveled to So What Music Festival. We did a bunch of stuff for Joey Sturgis for his line called JST, which is a line of plugins.
Yeah.
And we just did a bunch of like artist endorsements and like videos with them and just like how the software works and all that stuff. And from there, you know, I filmed bands and I was, you know, very involved in the music industry. And it all ties back to music, really. Like,
yeah, of course.
Like music has really, being a musician has really helped me connect with this kind of people. And making music videos is something that I'm really passionate about. So
there's something about your style of videography that I would actually say would take a musician to make a video like that. Because
Exactly.
there is a kind of musicianship to it, a little bit. You
Absolutely,
know?
I agree. One of the things that my partner says is she thinks that I have an advantage by being a musician because I know where the cuts should happen. I understand the lyrics. I like read behind the lyrics. I read the music. I listen to the music, and you kind of get a feel for like what are we gonna create? Like what kind of emotion does this music convey? Where are the cuts gonna be? And like all those things.
Yeah, that's the thing that I've noticed about the things that you do. You make the kind of videos that I really appreciate where whether it's the mood or the storyline or whatever, it has to do with the song. It's not like just some random thing that it's like, oh, well, it's just people painting themselves and it's like it has nothing to do with the song. It's just like it has nothing, you know. Everything that you do always has a purpose to it, in whether it be mood, lighting, or all of it, you know, or mood, lighting, and storyline. Like no matter what, it always fits the band, fits the lyrics, that kind of thing.
At the end of the day, when you're a filmmaker, and you could just do this and it'll still be art, and there's no fault. And you know, I used to do this. I used to just go out and just take photographs of like beautiful places, of beautiful people, and that's all I did, and I considered it art. But now that I've evolved as an artist, I see art in a different light.
Sure.
So whenever I make a piece that has an intent, and I make a piece that can emotionally connect with the viewer. And I think that's the biggest part of being a filmmaker, because you can have a very beautiful image, but if that image doesn't have a motive behind it and it doesn't connect with the viewer at an emotional level, then it's not going to have the impact that you intended to. So before I work on a project, I usually sit down and I'm like, okay, so what's the purpose of this piece? Like, how are we going to make people feel? Like, what are people going to take away from this? Because at the end of the day, if you don't do those things, again, you're not going to catch the attention, and you're not going to retain people, I guess. Would be the way to say it.
Absolutely. And what would you say is your favorite thing that you've done so far?
Like my favorite project?
Yeah, which is tough to kind of ask, you know, because I feel like everything is kind of your baby, you know?
Yeah. Every single project that I get involved with, I'm very picky with the clients that I get, because I feel like if you don't enjoy the project, then you're not going to end up making a piece worth
either that
being in your portfolio.
Yeah, either that or a project where you feel like you might learn something.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like that kind of thing too.
Yeah, and then I feel like as artists, like sometimes we work on projects just because we need money.
Of course.
But if you don't vibe, like for example, with music videos, I feel like when I don't vibe with the music, I feel like I'm not doing the best that I could be doing. I'm still going to do my best to do a really good job.
Yeah.
But it is with those pieces that like I feel deeply connected with, that I know that I can make something solid that's going to be like, wow, like this is awesome, and it connects with the audience and it's perfect. But to answer your question, my favorite project that I have done is called The Boy who can't stop hurting himself. It's a short documentary. It was created by Barcroft Media, and I was honored to be like the director and the camera person for this project. Basically, it's about a boy who has a syndrome that's so rare. It's called Lesch-Nyhan syndrome. And basically what it is, it's cerebral palsy, but it's like a step further. Like they basically do not control their limbs. They cannot talk. They can talk. They learn how to talk, and sometimes you can understand what they're saying. But they have a really hard time doing anything. They cannot grab things. And the other thing is that because they cannot control their muscles, they hurt themselves and people around them. And it's so rare that nobody has found a cure. Nobody has created anything to help them out, like restraints and stuff. So this poor kid is tied to a wheelchair, and they have to tie his arms and they have to tie his legs. They have to feed him through a tube directly through to his stomach because he cannot swallow. He'll choke because he cannot control the muscles on his neck.
Yeah.
And that story really resonated with me. I spent 2 days with the family, and
that's really intense.
And he was such a nice kid, aside from the fact that he tried to punch me like 20 times. But it's because he cannot control what he does. Yeah. And he has a very tough life, and people who have Lesch-Nyhan syndrome are expected to live nowhere past like 22 years of age. And you know, these kids, like, they're very grateful for their families because they depend on their family 100%. Yeah. To be alive, to eat, to go to the bathroom, to be cleaned, to anything, everything. Their entire house was designed for them. And their parents, actually, because nobody has designed anything to help them out, their parents have taken the initiative to create devices to help him out, to restrain him, and to, for example, like, he bites his tongue a lot, so they have to put things in his mouth. When he sleeps, they have to restrain him. But yeah, man, I think that was my favorite project, just because, like, how much it connected with me and how much it connected with the audience. Yeah, and I would assume that just doing that for as long as you did, even being with the family for a couple of days, that you learned so much. Oh yeah, and the last day was actually at night. We went to the bowling alley and we hung out. We played bowling, and I filmed them, and we hung out. And once I was ready to leave, he asked to give me a hug, and that completely, I'm telling you, man, that hit me like a truck, because he was like, wow, this kid goes through so much, and he just asked a stranger, myself, to come give him a hug because he had a freaking good time with me. And that was really awesome to experience, and to experience like all his friends in school playing basketball with him and doing things with him. That just connected with me in a really special way. Of course. And obviously, not to mention that, like, my name's on that project and he has like 10 million views on YouTube. So that's pretty awesome. So it's on a professional level. So it's on YouTube then? It is on YouTube. Okay. It's called The Boy Who Can't Stop Hurting Himself. Okay. And it's by a company called Barcroft Media. But you can find it anywhere. YouTube. It's on Daily Mail. It's on BBC Inside Edition. I think it was on there. But yeah, I think that's one of the projects that I'm that's the most great. I wanted to promote it so people could watch it. Yeah. It's a really good video, and you know, just bringing awareness to like this disease. And there's so many diseases out there, but I feel like this one in particular is just like so intense. Yeah, I actually have never heard of it till just now. Yeah. Which I'm assuming is why the documentary was made. Yeah. It's a very rare form of cerebral palsy. Yeah. Basically, yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, man. So kind of going on a little bit of a lighter note, what's a story that you can remember from being on set that just made you laugh, like a funny moment or something like that? Oh, man, that's a tough one. Because you're just all business, baby. Well, I'll tell you something funny. Yeah. Please I'm not going to disclose the name of the company because, you know, you can't slander people. Yeah, of course. One time I was on set and we were at a boxing rink. And I was just meeting these people. And I was the director of photography for this music video. And I grabbed a boxing glove at the end of the shoot. And I punched the director in the arm. Oh, my gosh. And he was in so much pain. But I remember punching him like so lightly. And he was so upset about it that I thought it was so funny. And I had just met this guy, right? I never got called again. But yeah, flashing my butt on music video sets. That's always fun.
Yeah.
I don't do it all the time. I only do it if I'm doing projects with close friends.
Okay.
So that's always fun. I actually did a short documentary with a stripper.
Okay.
In Portland, Oregon. And I remember part of the thing was like how like the things that she does while she's dancing.
Yeah.
And she actually, while she's dancing, she puts glitter on her butthole and then she farts and glitter comes out of her butt. So that was certainly hilarious.
What the heck?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
for sure.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that's pretty funny.
Bro, I haven't told this story on my podcast, but one of my first music videos that I ever did, I was cast in it and my agent didn't tell me what it was. They were just like, oh, you got the job, you know, whatever. So I went and I looked at the storyboards and this dude straight up looked like he was filming porn.
Oh my God.
And then I looked at the storyboards and it just said sex in the bathroom. And I was like, what am I doing here? and I'm like looking and like part of the storyboards, like there's someone that like looks like me, you know, and I'm like, what is going on? And so apparently what it was a UK like R&B singer, and he had a song called Sex in the Bathroom, right? And the premise of the video was that me and another character played nerds, and he gave us this cologne called Sex in the Bathroom, and when you would spray it, the ladies would go crazy, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
Which, think about it, why would anyone want a perfume called Sex in the Bathroom? It would taste like piss and semen. Like, why would anyone want that?
Sex in the Bathroom sounds like a very smelly cologne.
There's a lot of texture in that for sure. And so anyway, so the funniest part of the shoot was that we went out on we filmed it on Miami Beach, so we were on Lincoln Road, and he was in a McLaren because hip hop.
Yeah.
So
of course.
he's in a McLaren, and they're like, all right, so he's gonna throw the cologne bottle over the window as he's driving, and then you're gonna catch it. And I was like, okay, cool. We did this like 4-5 times, and he just couldn't do it. He would throw it, and like the glass would shatter.
Did you guys have multiple of them?
We had multiple, and also it's a McLaren, so it's like suicide doors. It's like almost impossible to do this. Like even if you're good at throwing, it's almost impossible. And I remember going up to the director, and I was like, "Hey, man, I might be out of turn by saying this, but maybe we can like throw it off frame and then we can just edit it to look like he threw it." And he goes, "Huh, that's not a bad idea." And I'm like, did I just do your job?
Get out of here.
Like,
give me that chair.
What is going on?
That's funny.
It was crazy. Yeah, dude. So I want to get some music stories out there because you've been in so many bands. What are some fun like music memories that you have?
I think the best music memory I have, the funniest,
either the funniest or just like the best, whichever you'd like. I think do both if you want.
Yeah, I think that the best memory of like my early adulthood and being in bands was probably the talent farm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and just like the energy that we had there, and just like how amazing
Kevin Burns was.
Yeah, well, that and and how amazing like our community was, because it didn't matter if you were doing like pop punk or like pop or rock or metal. Like we played shows together all the time.
Everyone knew each other.
Yeah, everyone knew each other. And everyone was friends because
you were all brothers. Like it was a brotherhood almost.
I mean, I can tell you, I played shows at the Talent Farm probably like twice a week. Yeah, it was a very consistent.
Well, you were also in a lot of other bands.
I was in a lot. Well, yeah.
Because you were in Sleeping Sunset for a while. Yeah. You were in, which is like a pop punk sounding kind of a band. Then you were in a metal band as well that was real heavy.
Yeah, the
like
post-hardcore. I did quite a few things, and
sometimes you were just moshing.
Yeah, sometimes I was just throwing some hands in the pit, bro. But yeah, that was certainly a lot of fun. But I think probably the funniest memory I have of like music and being surrounded by musicians was being at Denny's in
it's one of my favorite moments ever.
Miami Lakes. And this kid picking up the phone, I'm not going to disclose the name because, you know, and you were there.
Of course I was.
Manny was there. And just for the audience, I guess we'll say this kid picks up the phone and he says, what is it? He had a conversation with somebody and then he called him Kinky Chris.
Yeah.
And Kinky Chris, dude, I have never laughed so hard in my life. I think that's the most I've ever laughed.
I was like, well, it just because this poor guy.
Oh, no, wait. He hung up the phone and then we're like, yo, who was that? And then he was like, oh, just my friend Kinky Chris.
We were like, who is Kinky Chris?
Yeah. Is that a woman named Chris? She really kinky? No, that's my boy, bro.
What the heck? And he's like, and no, it got worse because I'm almost 100% sure. I might be wrong, but I'm almost sure he was like, no, we met on ChristianMingle.com. I was like, you met a guy named Kinky Chris on ChristianMingle.com?
Kinky Chris.
Like, what is going on, dude?
That's nice, bro.
Bro, some of the funniest moments ever are always after a show at Denny's.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's always some of the best stuff. One of my favorite memories with you being in Sleeping Sunset was when they played at this real big church. And they were like filming you and everything. Mm-hmm. It was so sick.
Yeah, that was fun. That's one of the biggest shows I've ever played.
Bro,
down.
It's like those kids weren't ready for how much energy you had.
Oh, yeah.
Like there was one point before a breakdown where you were like, I'll never forget it, dude. I'm getting chills right now. It was so sick. You were like, I want everybody in this room jumping. And you're like, and everyone is just jumping. It was the sickest moment I've ever seen.
Hell yeah, dude. That was fun, man. Back in the day when we were doing those shows. It was definitely some of the fondest memories of my life.
For sure.
It was a good time.
Let's look into the future a little bit. What's something that you want to do with the AndyOceans brand?
Yeah, so I've kind of been struggling a little bit with trying to find my place within the film industry and just trying to figure out who I am and what I do. I spend the majority, and I'm going to talk a little bit of the past because it relates to the future.
Of course.
I spend the majority of the past 2 years filming weddings, and I have filmed over 53 weddings at this point.
Wow. People get married, dude.
Yeah, man. People get married. And,
it's crazy.
And yeah, I mean, we're talking like each one of those weddings was like 10-hour shoots where I would be on my feet all the time. Nothing like a movie set because you're in a film set, music video, narrative, like anything. And there's a lot of downtime. Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot of like, okay, let's set up the camera. Let's do this. Let's do that. But weddings, it was just go all day and then come back home, edit them, then deliver them. And just, it was quite a process that I was not necessarily fulfilled by. It was just a way to make money because
of course.
As we were talking when you first got to the house, it's really hard finding the middle ground between being a creative and making money and feeding your family.
Of course.
But yeah, I spent a lot of time doing that, and I came to a point where I decided I'm not gonna do weddings anymore because it's not fulfilling me as an artist, and there's other ways for me to make money, like making music videos for artists or like trying to get hired as a director of photography and all these things. One of the biggest hurdles for me right now is that I am 100% a music video director. That's almost the entirety of my portfolio.
Yeah.
So going into the future, I decided I'm not going to do weddings no more. And I'm going to focus on what I really love. And I'm going to try to make the best of it. Because we only really have one life.
Yeah, of course.
And if you're not doing what makes you happy, then what are you doing? You're not doing anything. So into the future, I guess, how long? 5 years from now? Mm-hmm. I see myself continuing to direct music videos, narrative music videos, where I can create emotional stories that people can connect to. And I see myself creating films. Like, I really want to be a part of the film industry. I want to be a director of photography. I want to be involved with coloring and all these aspects of film. And I want to make stories because I feel like nowadays there's so many pieces that come out and I feel like I'm not connecting with them. I feel like there's all these movies, and it's kind of like a hit or miss.
Yeah.
I mean, with the democratization of media, there's media everywhere. And I mean, no offense, but it's not all of it is good.
Of course.
Not all of it is engaging.
It's impossible if there's so much of it.
Yeah. So for the past 2 years, I have really been dreaming of making short films. I have never taken the leap because I am afraid as an artist of creating something that people are not going to connect with.
Sure.
So for the past 3 years, I've been brainstorming. I've been learning. I have this book right here. It's called Writing Short Films. I've been reading this so I can learn about how to connect with an audience, how to structure a film, how to come up with ideas. Recently learned about Das Harmon's story guide, Story Circle, and it's an 8-step story circle where the character will begin at a place of comfort, go through an issue. He's looking for something, and there's hurdles, and then there's a climax where, you know, there's an antagonist or whatever it is that you want to do. I mean, it really depends. There's many ways, and this is not 100% the way. But eventually, the person pays the price for it, and they return to that place of comfort.
Yeah.
And that's just one of the tools that I've been utilizing to try to come up with ideas. And I've tried to come up with so many ideas. And as I told you earlier, it's really difficult to create things that are very socially responsible. And I believe that that's something that as an artist you have to take into account.
Of course.
Especially with the world moving forward and being more progressive. You know, there's a lot of snowflakes, as Trump likes to call it. And I don't see myself as a person of the left or the right. I'm a free thinker.
Yeah, me too.
But I also believe that, you know, you have to be socially responsible, especially today. Like there's, you know, you can, and in comedy, I mean, you do comedy. You know, comedians can be raunchy sometimes. Of
course.
But it's because that's the style. It doesn't matter in that group, I believe. Like I watch, like, for example, like the new Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
You know, and people have been slamming it, and some people have been saying, no, I love it. And, you know, Dave Chappelle wasn't very socially responsible when he made that.
Right.
Which is fine. I believe it's fine.
Yeah.
You know, I just think that in today's day and age, you do have to be socially responsible when you're creating, or at least if you're going to create something that is sensitive to a group, you have to have a director that understands the story.
Yeah.
And a writer that understands the story. For example, I was thinking about creating something about suicide and how to bring awareness to suicide. But guess what? I've had friends who have committed suicide.
Yeah, same here.
And, you know, in one's own head, I mean, I've had suicidal thoughts in the past, but I don't think that I would be the right person to write a story about suicide, because it's never been that intense for me. So I think that somebody who's been through the experience of attempting it and coming out the other side, you know, coming out alive, is what I mean.
Yeah.
That person would be most fitting to write a story of that sort.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
That does make sense.
And that goes for anything.
Yeah.
Gay people, injustice in the Middle East, like child trafficking, like all those things. I'll give you an example of a show that I believe is not socially responsible. 13 Reasons Why.
Sure.
I don't believe that show is socially responsible.
Yeah.
I believe that you cannot display on television. You cannot display rape on television so vividly.
Yeah.
Because that triggers people who have been victims of rape. You can imply it, you know, behind closed doors, or like do things like that, like little tricks in film that you can do, but they decided not to do that. They decided to go the extra mile and you know, and do it that way. And I personally believe that, you know, it's not back to social responsibility. It's not socially responsible. You're doing something that triggers other people.
Yeah, I agree with you, because actually when I was first watching that show, I saw the first season and I really enjoyed it. And then
until the end of the
thing with me is that sometimes it takes me a little bit to like think about it and then really be like, oh, I actually like this thing, or I don't like this thing. And it wasn't until like a couple of days later after thinking about it where I was like, I just thought exactly what you thought. Like, at the end of the day, it just is socially irresponsible to do this, because at the end of the day, the main target is kids for this.
Yeah.
You know, or kids in high school, like that kind of thing. And there's just elements in it where it's just too much for them. It's too much.
And it's even too much for adults, man. I mean,
the thing is, though, and I get it. This is the thing. To give them a point, I'll say I understand why they did it, because parents don't want to talk to their kids about that stuff. But I will ding the parents, because it is your responsibility to talk about these things. You know what I mean?
100%.
Because that's the world. Mm-hmm. Sorry. Yeah. And it's going to be awkward, but that's the world. Yeah. You know, like, you just have to do it. And I completely agree with you. If they had done little camera tricks and just like in a way where good, healthy questions could be asked.
Like the hands. Like
it would have been perfect.
Show the hands. Show the hands. Show.
Or like a slow cutaway.
Anything could have worked. You know?
Yeah.
And the
mood for the show wasn't struggling in having a mood. You know what I mean? Like, I would have known that something was happening if I hadn't seen it. You know what I mean?
Stupid humans. Goddamn humans.
He's just turning into Cartman now.
The Ferminator.
Actually, it's really funny that I called it the Ferminator, because we just got a Roomba back from my dad. Came from Seattle. He brought it for us, and I had to reset it up on my phone. The name I gave it was the Ferminator, because we have so much dog hair.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Yeah, man. Oh my gosh. So, where can people find you online? Where can people find AndyOceans, all that stuff?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at AndyOceans, and you can find my website is AndyOceans.com. Pretty simple.
And all your work is there, right? Like all your...
Most of my work.
Okay. So definitely visit that. And for me, you can find me on Instagram at Mike Valdes, on Twitter at I am Mike Valdes. You can go to whoismikevaldes.com to find out the answer to that question. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. This has been an episode. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for having me, dude.
This was so much fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. This was super fun, Andy. So yeah, tell your friends and family so we can grow this, family, you know? And thank you so much for listening. Bye, besties.